Was kicked out of the White House today like a sorority girl who didn't make the cut for Rush. Goodbye, see ya later. Donald Trump, he was in his element this morning. Let me break it all down for you. Now, the meeting started off friendly and cordial. Zelensky, he was in his typical outfit. He's committed to the bit. Me, if I were going to meet my sugar daddy, I probably would have put a suit on, but Zelensky, I guess he doesn't own one. I'm about to play you guys a moment from the meeting and then we can discuss further, but I want to say this first. Donald Trump won the election with a decisive mandate to end the war in Ukraine. If you look at a recent Quinnipiac poll, 72% of Americans want this Ukraine war to be negotiated. They are tired of it.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you can...
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
If you didn't have our
invited
military
me.
equipment,
You invited
Now, the MSNBC liberal literati, they are losing their minds over this Oval Office meeting. I understand there are some folks who say we should have decorum, we shouldn't act this way in public. I completely disagree. Let's tear the walls down and let the press in and watch everything. My tax dollars, your tax dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars have been spent on the war in Ukraine, and 99% of Americans, we aren't ever going to visit Ukraine. I'm not sure I can even find Ukraine on a map. I am tired of the war. Now, this is nothing new for President Trump. Back in 2018, during his first term, he had a very famous, contentious meeting with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi in the Oval Office, and the press got to stay and watch. I think one of the reasons so many in the Democratic elite and the mainstream media are freaking out and melting down over this Oval Office meeting is that they haven't seen alpha sit around and negotiate a deal in a very long time. In fact, Joe Biden for the last 4 years was kept insulated by handlers. He could never have a conversation like this in a public forum. There's really nothing I love more than men who get shit done. And I know women across the country agree with me. We are tired of these beta male bitch boys running the White House. That's what we've had for the last 4 years. In fact, some of them worked their way in during Trump's first term, but he's not going to let it happen anymore. I know many on the far left are all about their safe spaces and respecting each other's pronouns. That is absolute nonsense. If Zelensky comes into the people's house, the house we pay for, and he's not acting correct, Donald Trump has every right to give him a proverbial humbling. You guys also have to remember, Zelensky is an entertainer. He did a Vogue photo shoot at the height of the war. I don't know presidents who are doing photo shoots for Vogue at the height of war. Now, don't get me wrong, like all of you, I am tired of seeing innocent men, women, and children lose their lives in the crossfire of war and terror. I have said that for years, since February of 2022, when this war started. One thing about war, though, it is big business. War makes rich men richer, and it's probably why Joe Biden and his cronies would have continued this for another 4 years. In fact, Joe Biden, he was sleepwalking us into World War III. One thing about President Trump, he said after the meeting, I am not aligned with Russia. I am aligned with the United States, and I'm aligned with the world. He wants to see a resolution to this war. He's known for the art of the deal, but to get that deal done, you're going to need Putin, Zelensky, and Trump to sit together and figure it out. Zelensky came in way too hot to the meeting. He should have come in and said, thank you guys for trying to end this war. Thank you for the hundreds of billions of dollars you've given to me, even though there was a Time magazine expose that said many of my friends were stealing like there's no tomorrow. That's a direct quote. I know it's a tough pill to swallow for Zelensky that Joe Biden is no longer around and Trump is actually trying to end this war. He's not going to continue just writing checks to Ukraine with no accountability. A majority of Americans, we want to keep that money at home. We are more interested in the home front than ever. We want to deport criminals, we want to wind down these wars, and we just want freedom and liberty here in the United States. Now, the moment that really ticked me off from the meeting is when Zelensky did a little veiled threat. He said, there's an ocean between us, meaning the United States and Europe, but the war is going to come for us next. We're going to get dragged in. Do not tell us what's going to happen with the United States of America. We are the most powerful, prosperous nation on earth. You go and worry about your country. Don't come in here, pipsqueak, who doesn't even own a suit, after Marco Rubio, Scott Bessent, JD Vance, and Donald Trump worked to negotiate a deal. Don't come in here hot and make little veiled threats and talk over the president. You should have come in humble and said thank you so much. Like a kid who needs money from his parents before going to the mall, you should have been on your best behavior. And like I always say, I welcome folks on the left, the right, the middle, all across the political spectrum. It's come one, come all to the Halloween ball. I welcome an open debate, an open dialogue, just like we saw in the White House today. But I also know a majority of Democrats, independents, and Republicans that I talk to want to wind down the war in Ukraine. So the mainstream media, you guys can keep crying. This is how men negotiate. They're going to talk. It's going to get heated. Nobody was yelling. This is what happens when guys sit around a boardroom and they're working on a deal. So I don't know. Go cry for me, Argentina. Go cry into your pillow. Go cry in your little safe space. But this is what needed to happen today. President Trump has only been in office about 40 days. It's only been about 40 days. It's felt a lot longer if you ask me, but he is the F around and find out president. You F around, you're going to find out. This guy has nothing to lose. He won with a decisive mandate to get things done for the American people. We are tired of shuffling the papers around on the desk every 4 years and doing nothing. He wants to end the war, and so do we. All right, my friends, thanks for liking and following. Drop a comment. Tell me how you felt about the Oval Office meeting between Zelensky and Trump. I'm going to be here every single day for the next 4 years and beyond, giving you the news you're not going to get in the mainstream media because I'm not owned by anybody.